animate stuff. And then, of course, if there's a sniper in the distance, you can pick up a body and throw it at them. So we give the kit, the full kit, to deal with all the different dynamics in a different way, right? To really just feel different. And crap, there was one there that I just, oh yeah. So what kind of pairs pretty well with the body tree, which I think they showed there a little bit, is on one of the sides of the tech tree, you can unlock the ability to go even higher with your cyberware. So there's a cyberware limit. And then in the tech tree, if you get the right perks, you can kind of push past that limit. However, if you push past that limit, you're at risk of getting into what we call, it's the Edge Runner perk, by the way, is the name of one of them, of course, right?
Fitting.
But you can get into a fury mode, where essentially you're overloading and you're starting to receive like damage. You have your health max is lower and that kind of stuff. But it pairs really well with this build because you can keep getting adrenaline and regaining your health, right?
Yeah.
So it's one that just happens to, I mean, I can't wait to see all the different builds that the players find and how they mix and match. This is just one way to mix and match like body and tech, and kind of has that fantasy fulfillment. And I have a lot of fun playing that one myself. Oh, and of course, how can I miss? So another way you can close gaps is you can charge and then you knock people back like bowling pins. And that's a good one for closing gaps. And if you get certain perks, you can. I'm talking too fast, aren't I?
No.
I'm talking too fast.
It's okay.
I get excited.
You get excited.
Yeah. There it goes. That was like a gratuitous throw there, which is fun to do, of course, as well. But you feel really satisfied if you see an enemy in the distance and you throw and you arc it just right, and bam, you splat them. It's so much fun.
So you actually touched already the Edge Runner perk, but what I would like us to clarify that player is not getting cyber psychosis, right?
Correct. Yeah, no, I saw there was some, so pushing the limit and getting into the fury state, you're not ever gonna like lose control of your character and start shooting civilians and stuff like that. Like it's like that's not like, but if you do, get to the point where you start on your own agency creating mayhem, definitely the police, which we'll talk about later, will start labeling you as a cyber psycho because essentially you have the agency and you are behaving that way.
So you can
but you don't lose control of your character. Yes, you can role play it.
And yeah, Kacper, what can you tell us about Dogtown? How does it fit into Night City in general? How is it different?
So one of the first questions we asked, we're trying to design Dogtown, was exactly that: how we can make it different yet feel like it's connected to the same city itself, environment. And of course, we had the backstory about the Dogtown being before this dream of very luxury, very rich place on Earth that you can go and have fun and do crazy other things. Yet it never come true because the war happened, right? And people, Militech and other companies, corporations actually, just pulled off out there and just everything stayed there. All the damaged buildings, even all the hardware that we're helping to build those buildings is there. And for us as artists and storytellers, it gave us a lot of tools to create those stories. Meaning, for example, Night City, it's not very, I would say, safe place, yet it is a city of dreams, right? So we try to make the contrast there. Where here, it's the total dystopian world, right? So we had the tools of showing this decaying world and how it goes, how it's being literally consumed by time, yet people trying to survive there. And that gave us a lot of opportunities because Dogtown itself, as you know, it's part of Pacifica. It's the part that before was closed off because of the whole building structures. Right now it's opened, and we had those tools. By those tools, I mean we had this idea of making this very dystopian world, and we used the tools like, sorry, I'm trying to make a proper sentence here, I'm sorry.
No worries.
The tools like, because for me as an artist, we had the opportunity to make this use of sand and decaying world, and this makes the whole thing consistent, right? However, yet every single part of the district is a little bit different. We have parts of the district where heavily inspired by Las Vegas, and we have casinos there. And some of them are still open. You can have fun there. Some of them are closed. We have parts where you can explore some old spas and hotels, which are very decaying, let's say, overgrown even. We have a part where you can see, which is a glimpse of hope with, we call it container zone, our internal name, let's say. But you can see that people are trying to survive there, and they're trying to build like a hope for themselves in this really hopeless place. So trying to build this contrast there. And there are few flavors that I want to talk about right now. I want you to explore this, but we really try to make, even if this, let's say, very characteristic district itself, still some flavors to it and different flavors. And I think it's going to be very, very, very much fun for everyone to explore and find those flavors and see the different environments for people to try to survive there, because it's not a pretty and safe place to survive and live in.
So if this is such a dangerous place, who gets to live there? Who decides, oh, I'm going to move to Dogtown?
I don't think it's like anyone woke up one morning and said, I want to change something in my life, and then go there living, because that's probably not the best place to go. However, there's a lot of different social layers, I would say, in Dogtown. We can start with all the people that are trying to escape from law, meaning NCPD, and trying to hide there. Maybe even conduct business, which is probably illegal there, but you can do crazy shit in Dogtown, because why not? There, of course, are people that maybe got drawn there because other reasons. There are people that are just living there because maybe they were pushed away by, life is life. In Night City, you have to be able to survive.
The kind of political situation there is very different than Night City. Like the NCPD's not there. As we said, it was the site of the war, and he was a colonel in the war against the Arasaka, so corpos aren't allowed there. So as Casper was saying, it's a place that some people want to or need to flee to. So it creates quite an eclectic mix and group, and it's also a place where things that are illegal in Night City can be done there. Adds to the texture and the story potential and the side quests and stuff like that we have there as you explore.
It also gives us the opportunity to build contrast, because we're always trying to find contrast between layers, visual layers, and social layers. And here it's a lot of layers on top of each other, creating those contrasts. So I think it's very cool.
And we hope at the very beginning, when you see the big gate, and Somi's trying to get you past that gate into there, that we give you that feeling. You hear on the megaphones, and I'm not sure if the audio played there for them, but you hear on the megaphones where Kurt is saying, like, no NCPD, no corpos, so on and so forth allowed there. And you even have scenes where NCPD is trying to get in, and the bar guest, his militia, is like back. Wait, am I allowed to curse? Am I allowed to curse? I don't know.
One per stream.
Back the F up. No, okay. Anyways, so it just gave so much potential. And I think the other thing that we had a lot of fun with, and as Casper was saying, was just that sort of that feeling of like oppression. Like, it's like even in the zone where, people are, they've got stands and they've got some commerce and they've got a life there. There's still those bar gas soldiers that are walking through, just making sure everyone's in order. So you feel that. And of course, the closer you get to the Black Sapphire, to his tower, the more it's sort of like in a military encampment.
I would still add to that what you said, is that because you may be made feel like Kurtz's people, bar guests, are there to protect you. It's not entirely the case. No, they're trying to protect themselves.
That's true. That's a good point.
But they're trying to maybe just make sure that they're okay, but they don't care about you.
Okay, but let's circle back a little bit. Okay, Barguest and Kurt. Who are they? Because Pacifica, we always thought it's like Voodoo Boys mostly. That's their turf.
True.
But Dogtown is controlled by Barguest, and the leader of Barguest is Kurt.
It's Kurt.
Right?
Yeah, I think we have to make sure that it's called clear. Dogtown itself still being part of Pacifica in terms of the map, like geography. What's the word here?
Geography.
Thank you so much. But it's like as a entity, it's a separate thing, right? Mm-hmm. You have to go there. It's almost like a Vatican in Rome. If it's a good example, maybe not. But you know what I mean. Like,
as far as borders go, yes. But otherwise, everything else,
what I meant. Yeah. I meant by the borders. But yeah, so when you go in there, it's a different world, and it's run by Kurt, right? And the Kurt is a ex-special force military guy from Militech, and after the war, he started his own army, basically. And all the people, all the army people joined him that also couldn't find their place in the world after the war, and he basically created his own kingdom, let's say, even, right? He runs this place, and whatever he wants, he gets it. And what was the question? I got carried away a bit.
Because you started talking about Barguest without explaining who they are.
So his army, his militia, let's say, is called Barguest, right?
Yeah, things that we often see on our socials is when we start the Phantom Liberator, you know, the level, the story was, you know, in the base game. So
okay. So you can basically it's after the Brigitte. Or first off, no spoilers on Phantom Liberty, but it's very difficult to answer that question without spoiling a little bit of the base game. But the Voodoo Boys Brigitte portion of the storyline, after you finish that, is when this quest essentially unlocks. Now, as a player coming to the game for the first time, or even when you're coming back, if you want to skip ahead in character creation, there's a way to skip ahead to that moment and immediately jump into the Phantom Liberty action. And of course, if you have characters that are already, or saves that are already past that, immediately Songbird's going to reach out to you when you get into the game. And then if you happen to have saves that are before finishing that portion of it, then there will be in your journal telling you what you need to do to get to that point. But we have it integrated into the game such that you can be doing the Dogtown experience, that storyline, and the base game storyline and back and forth because it's all somewhat related.
Okay, and what if someone already finished the game?
So if you finish the game, obviously your save will be before that point of no return point, and then yes, Songbird will hit you up and say, I got something for you, and then you can go from there.
Right, we already received a call from Xiaomi. She told us to go to the Dogtown gates. Can we actually maybe tell a bit more about Songbird herself? Who is she? What she's doing there?
Sure. So she's on a plane right now with President Rosalind Myers. Dogtown is a district that there was the war there. There was the front, and after the war, one of the colonels took control of it and had a falling out with the new United States, Kurt. And Kurt has hijacked basically control of the plane. This is what Songbird's telling you, and needs your help. There's no way that it can communicate with anyone except to you through the relic. So you are the sort of lifeline, their last resort to try to help intercept what's going to go on there. And you decide whether or not you want to answer the call. And of course, she says, like, listen, I'm connecting to you through the relic. I know about the bomb ticking your head, and I'm a badass netrunner. I can solve this for you as long as you can solve this for me. And that is the deal. And you got to decide whether or not you want to jump in.
So this is V's motivation, right?
This is V's motivation at the beginning, yes.
And we trust her.
That's for players to find out.
All right. Do you trust her?
You can't ask me such things.
Kacper, do you trust her?
I think I'm on game this one. You guys have to play it and figure out for yourself. But
yes.
It's a very intriguing story.
All right. I know she's also giving us the new relic tree. Can we maybe talk about the new relic?
Oh, I'm sorry to interrupt, but right here, this is quite a scene. She's showing you how badass she is.
Yeah.
Let's wait a beat, because I'm not sure, has this been revealed yet? This hasn't been seen yet, right? This is the first time it's being seen.
Yeah, like, if it's about me, I wouldn't trust her.
So she's suppressing, because having both her and Johnny on the relic at the same time is causing an issue with seizures with you there. And so she's like, listen, I'm going to suppress him for now, but it's for everyone's safety. He's still there, as I think you can see in some of the dialogue there. What was your question? I'm sorry, I went on that tangent because I wanted to highlight that. So she's the real deal. She's the real deal.
Well, she's a netrunner for the president, right? So she needs to be a badass,
top
right?
netrunner for the new United States. Yeah.
But yeah, coming back to the relic, right? We got a relic from her. Maybe we want to actually let players to get to that point watching this gameplay.
Yeah, they're going to see that here in a moment. So basically, in addition to communicating through the relic and being able to suppress Johnny there, she is able to basically enhance it, and says, listen, I'm going to unlock some potential of this relic in your head, and this is going to unlock the skill tree, which I guess they're going to see in a moment there. Mm-hmm. And is this when I talk about what the skill tree does? Or?
In a moment.
Okay, sorry, getting ahead.
Save some folks. That's where
I guess Johnny is not happy to be suppressed by Songbird like that. I mean, I wouldn't.
You'll find out how Johnny feels a little bit later in the story.
Dogtown, not so sure. You'll need to get her out of the plane before anyone else does.
Nothing's for free, Songbird. We should talk biz.
Just got a taste of my abilities, I believe. There's more. I can cure you. Once and for all.
Can't know how much I'd really love to believe you, but...
I know, V. You've hit a dead end, Nowhere to turn. Been there, believe me. Consider this, an advance. Your relic's crowded with clusters of corrupted data.
Okay, now,
I'm dumping that.
Now we can jump to the relics. So yeah, we got the new relic tree. How does it work?
So the relic tree essentially enhances various different cyberware. That's kind of the theme of it. And the way that you're able to, she helps you unlock some of it, the skill tree opens up, but the way you're able to unlock more potential of it, basically get the points that you can spend for more stuff, is by finding Militech data terminals throughout Dogtown. Because again, Dogtown is the former combat zone where the battle between Arasaka and Militech in the United States. So there's some leftover data terminals there that help you unlock more and more of this. And the theme, there's a bunch of different type of abilities to unlock for different cyberware. I'm sorry, keep going? Okay. One, for example, is basically being able to not only enhance your own cyberware, but find vulnerabilities in other people's cyberware. So as your enemies are out there, you know, if you get headshots, if you get precise headshots, you get damage bonuses, whatnot. We've unlocked basically, it starts to target different locations where people's enemies' cyberware is vulnerable. So it kind of gives you another fun kind of like skill shot spot to hit. And if you hit that and you do enough damage to it, it then has sort of like an EMP explosion. So it's almost like AoE headshots, whereas headshots are like single target damage. This is kind of an AoE thing. So it adds a new tactical element. We've got things where like the gorilla arms that you have, you can really enhance it. And as you're doing damage with the gorilla arms, you can charge it up to then do, and again, I apologize, throughout this stream, I'm going to get the skill names wrong because we changed it so many times, so I don't remember the one, but I remember the themes of it. So you can knock the crap out of someone and then they go flying. I think we saw some of that in the trailer. With the Mantis blades, you can charge it up and get like a really long range, like 30 meter plus leap out of it, which is really good. And for the overall gameplay kit of being able to kind of close gaps to snipers you see in the distance, stuff like that. With the monowire, you'll be able to put as a netrunner hacks through the monowire onto the enemies. And then as you further enhance it, you can then spread the hacks from the enemy that you put it to others with the monowire. The optical camo gets an enhancement through this tree as well, where you're able to like fully kind of just like vanish, like poof, out of combat if you want to reset kind of the stealth gameplay loop, if you mess up, or if you want to jump in and get revealed tactically for a reason and then pop out, you can enhance it that way. It goes on and on and on.
Okay, so we explained some of those new perks, but how you actually leveled this new tree.
That's what I was saying. It was the data terminals throughout Dogtown, so it's exploration.
Okay,
so as you can find them throughout your exploration of Dogtown.
So if you level up normally, you will not get the point.
Right, yeah, this is not through the leveling up, this is through exploration to get those points. Okay. Leveling up, of course, still gives you the perk points, which we'll talk about in a little bit, obviously.
I think you can clear this because I'm not sure if it was coming through. Yeah. You have to explore Dogtown to find those. They're not marked, they're not shown. You have to find them.
It's exploration.
Exactly.
You'll hear audio cues. There'll be hints as you're getting close, that kind of stuff. But we really had fun with placing them in places that are fun too.
That's correct.
So Vault 2 and whatnot.
Okay, and if we start as the Phantom Liberty standalone, right? How many points do we get at the beginning, or we just start with 0?
So if you do the Phantom Liberty standalone, you get your first set of points from her that allows you to pick sort of one of the foundation ones. All right. And then as you explore, you get one more point for each of the data terminals you have. So she is the president, and we get shot down there, and we find out that she's someone who can hold her own, but she definitely needs assistance in getting out, and it's just the two of you, and you're trying to kind of find your way and escape, Kurt and his crew who are chasing you. So it's kind of a fun kind of like look around every corner in the first. I'm always hesitant. I don't want to spoil too much, but in the first sort of segment of gameplay, and in this scene here, we're seeing in a hideout, and I'm not sure if the audio is playing or whatever, but they're listening to Kurt, and this kind of goes to the point that you're trying to say. He's he's not just all brute. He's a smart politician, and he's playing a political game here with the propaganda machine, if you will. to say that, you know, this is a ploy. The president isn't really there, so everyone look away while he does what he wants to do. He's like, they're just trying to position Night City to be able to reinvade my place here, and they're trying to take advantage of this, so he's really putting everyone in a difficult situation politically such that he can maintain his power and, of course, keep the president at risk. And you are, yeah, I'm not going to spoil anything more, but yeah.
That's good.
That's it.
Okay, so let's recap. We get contacted by Songbird to help the president. Kurt is the dangerous guy in here. So how does Solomon Reed fit into the picture? What is he doing in Dogtown? I mean, he's our amazing Idris Elba portrait character. So
he's amazing.